Hey everyone, Laurel here, Minnesota Zone 5A. We are going to do mid to late August garden tour, I suppose. It's middle of the week. I'm actually off work this week. My sister is visiting from Texas. And it's been real rainy and now humid. So, you know, I guess par for the course. But things are looking good. There's a few things that are not liking this much rain, but I'm having some mildew issues on a few things, but overall it's all doing pretty darn good. Dahlias now are all blooming. The shorter mystery ones that are not at all what they were marked have been blooming for a while, but now all the dinner plates started. So I had 3 cafe au lait, although I have 2 of this more lavender creamy colored bloom. I believe that those were 2 I got at Bachman's this year. I know I bought 2, and then I had at least 1 tuber that I saved from previous years, which I think is this one. And that one is very much creamy color. That's what I've seen before in cafe au lait, so I'm not sure. Either way, they are absolutely gorgeous though. Really gorgeous blooms and prolifically blooming. So I am very happy. They've been a nice little view out the porch window and just sitting on the patio. Got the sunflower that's a volunteer that the birds have been eating. I don't know if they can reach the rest of it, so I'll probably harvest those seeds. Manhattan Island Dahlia here blooming. My little Dahlia patch is doing really well over here. I did have a 4th cafe au lait that got cracked and broke in a storm, so that is what this planter is doing right here. I did pick up another hardy hibiscus to plant once I dig up my dahlias, so I might put that in like a bucket so I can keep it watered because they're very thirsty plants. Not sure if I want to pot it up into a 3-gallon pot. This is a number 2 pot. This one, now I'm forgetting the name of it. It's hot pink, but nice dark foliage, which is what I was looking for. And I picked up a phlox, the kapow coral. They had a bunch of kapow phlox from that line at the Home Depot near me, different colors. And I read about them. It says they exhibited in a bunch of university trial websites. It said they exhibited high resistance to mildew, so we'll give it a shot. These need some water again. I should probably put them in the shade. My sister helped me a lot digging up a bunch of strawberries from the back, and so I have them all potted up ready to give away at work next week when I sadly have to return to work. I like my job, but you know, we all wish our time was our own. Look at that, Manhattan Island, so pretty with those yellow streaks and that like burgundy color. And then Golden Scepter is this other huge one that I keep putting stakes in, but it leans forward. But it looks very lush over here right now. Still haven't planted the coneflower trios that I got at Cub. Here's the rest of the strawberries. I mean, it was like probably a few hundred that we dug up. A couple hundred of them from that area. In 72 hours, we got just under 5 inches of rain, just a hair under 5 inches of rain. And now we have a little bit of a dry spell, maybe some scattered showers, but yeah, it was a lot. We have this system just kind of park right over us. The south of the state, there are areas that got 10 inches of rain in the last 72 hours, so you can hear the cicadas going. Limelight Prime now blooming. A pretty limey color. I love the effect of this diacia here. That's really pretty underneath. That was a clearance plant. And then my annuals have all kind of filled in, the Wicked Witch coleus with the Rockin' Playing the Blues salvia. And then these are like lime something 4 o'clocks with their hot pink flowers. I grow those from seed. The chokeberry, the berries are now fully developed and all black. That's an aronia. Low Scape Mound is the variety. We've got that hosta, that's the mystery hosta. That was not mislabeled on clearance. The super fragrant blooms. I mean, and especially in the evening, they really smell quite strong. Like jasmine, they perfume the whole area. So I'm a big fan of that. And then the little lime hydrangea is just huge. It's got some massive blooms. So hydrangeas are a little bit droopy, as is typical when there's heavy rainfall. Hoping the sun goes behind clouds. It's kind of been in and out of the clouds today. A second flush on the cat's pajamas nepida, and I have these two little annual verbena down there. The tobacco budworms are here. They have arrived, floating up on the air currents or whatever from southern states. This is an opening act phlox, same variety as that one. I think it's called ultra pink. And those have just been blooming all summer long. Blooming, blooming. This one had some wilt, so I had cut that back early in the season, but it doesn't seem to have any signs of more wilt. I think that worked out, so I think we're good there. The Solidago, on the other hand, you can see greatly suffering from all the rain. Massive mildew issue. This is dwarf goldenrod, 3 of them. They should be nice and green and lush, but they are opening their blooms right now. These are such pollinator attractors that I'm going to let them bloom and then cut them back immediately after the blooms are done. But things are looking good. I'm starting to deadhead some of the echinacea a little bit. This is a patch of 3 Sunseekers salmon echinacea. You can see the faded blooms. You don't have to, but I like to because that keeps them putting out fresh blooms until later, maybe like a month from now. I stop deadheading and just let them go to seed for the birds to eat. Things are filling in well over here. Okay, now this coleus is looking bounced back a little bit. This was majorly wilting. That's where I'm going to put the new phlox because this is all kind of annuals in here. But these two coleus are the same variety called Torchlight, planted on the same day. I literally planted them one after the other. That one is easily 2 or 3 times as big as this one. And this one has been wilting for most of the summer, despite all the rain that we've had. It's looking a little bit perkier now. But I also lost one of the Rudbeckia that was over here to wilt. So I think it's just all, we've had a very wet year from the very beginning, from the end of May. The Diacia is starting to rebloom, even the ones that I deadheaded that are more in the shade. And then this is the other thing. I had snapdragons planted here, Twinny Peach, and one of them had wilted and died earlier this summer, and the others all just severely wilted back and died back. So I cut them back in the hopes they'll resprout, and then I just popped in, this is just your basic 4-pack of verbena, like a mixed pack of basic verbena that I got on clearance just to fill in some color in that spot. The Diacia over here is looking really nice. This variety is called Trinity Grace, and it's white, but it has like a peachy pink tone to it as well. And then this mystery, it was something coming up that didn't look like a weed to me, so I left it out of curiosity. Turns out it is a volunteer phlox, so a seed made its way into my garden from some neighbor, and I got a free phlox right next to the Stokes aster. The Conocloa macra here, kind of weighed down by the rain as well. And then the other purple things in this area are Persian shield. Those are annual. And then I have foxglove that's self-seeded that are now starting to bloom. Love this gomphrena. I want to say raspberry cream. I don't know. I can never remember that one, but that I grew from seed. I do need to come in and deadhead this Veronica a little bit, cut back. That gets mildew. It's done pretty well this year. I think that's a good spot for it. And this is all annual Rudbeckia that I seed started over here. A mix. I have both caramel mix and Sahara mix. The one that reseeded from last year died of wilt. I did get one single bloom. We've got a patch of snapdragons over here now putting on some buds after I deadheaded them a while back. Foxglove, boy, those really got weighed down by the rain. And this Rudbeckia seeded itself from last year. I leave the seed heads up over winter. Really pretty kind of two-tone blossom. I did have some of them re-sprout from the roots in the spring. They're not technically hardy here, but I think they're marginal. But then all but one of the ones that re-sprouted died back, so I don't know. I just let them do what they do. This is another self-seeded one coming up over here about to bloom. The juniper is looking good. This coleus is called Henna. Really pretty one over here. And you can see the area I did cardboard and mulch. This is no dig garden land. And I just got discount mulch. It's all mismatchy. So I did all the way kind of down the path along the fence. And there are bits, it never gets everything. Weeds come through and little bits of grass come through. So you can come and hand weed them, which I'll probably do in the sparse patches. On the hill, it's a little bit harder. I think the cardboard just breaks down faster here too because we walk on it more. So I don't think I'll come and dig this all up. I think I'll probably keep it trimmed back. But then I'm just going to put a tarp over this area for the winter, and that will smother it all out over winter. Transplanted these over dam grasses, and they're looking a little bare this year, but they were just transplanted, so I think they'll be okay. They'll come back next year. This is a Mrs. Moon lungwort, along with a North Pole arborvitae that I planted this year. And I got one little blade hanging on here on my clearance Cloa all gold. So we'll see how that does. This is the Love Story Hosta from Proven Winners. And then I just had extra elephant ear corm, so I popped them in back here. This is my little native corner here. I need to get some tall hoops for this eupatorium, this Joe Pye weed. It's you can see the rain split it open quite dramatically. So as soon as I get some more tall hoops this week, I'll come prop that back up, and then I'll be able to see the switchgrass. This is the panicum, beautiful blue foliage. Blue stem needs full sun to stay upright, but panicum can take a little shade, I've found. That is the Cheyenne Sky from Proven Winners, and underneath I had some milkweed that I winter sowed seeds, and a bunch of those took when I transplanted. These two clearance planters are doing well. I showed those in my container tour. They're very happy with all the rain. I love this elephant ear. I'm excited for next year. And I can have that in a big pot. My garden's getting very tropical looking. I've only had to water the tree maybe twice this summer. We've had so much rain. There's only been a couple weeks where we didn't get at least an inch. So, and I have clay soil, so things stay pretty moist. I'll start spraying for budworm. They don't typically hit my petunias very hard, but I need to trim this back too. That will help if I just give it a good haircut. Then in a few weeks it'll fill out again. Native bee balm back here, done blooming now, just has the seed heads, also split open by the rain, but it's fine. I don't need to get back here. I did mix some more 4-pack impatiens in with stuff. I had planted this as a hellebore and then a ghost fern. I'm kind of worried that those will be too close because I know ghost ferns get really big, and that hellebore I have up front, it gets big too, so we'll see how they do. And then this is another butterfly weed that I got on clearance last summer. So I'm wondering, this is the Atlantis Hosta, and it has all this weird mottling on it. I'm wondering if this has Hosta virus X. Because all the leaves look a little discolored, a little mottled. It's supposed to be darker green with sort of a light green stripe. So I really need to Google that. Yeah, you see how it's all like mottled and speckly here? I think that's a sign of Hosta virus X, so I may have to rip that one out, and I don't want it to infect all of my other hostas. Ooh, that's a big old queen bee. Big mama. We've got autumn frost. Waiting for blooms on my toad lily back there. I think those bloom late summer, fall. The poor first blush hosta got really fried this year. It's still blooming, so just going to leave it be. Eventually my tree will give it shade. And oh, I need to do some weeding. It's been so damp. Just haven't done a whole lot. I have a few more blooms on some late blooms on the Jackmanii clematis here. And let's see, this planter I just showed in my last video. And I don't know, the leaves keep wilting again on the older branches on this red twig elderberry. So I am wondering, the new branches look good. That's what all these low-hanging ones are. I just want to let them grow before I trim because I want them to take over for the old ones. And there are a bunch of dead branches where they have been defoliated. And I checked a branch that I cut. This is actually in my neighbor's yard. But I trimmed a branch. It was over it's like normally a nice canopy over this bench for shade at this time of day. midday. But and I'm curious if it has verticillium wilt. I did kind of scrape under the bark to see if I saw those dark stripes, but I didn't see anything, so I really don't know. Don't know what's going on. That white thing, by the way, that's nesting material for birds, and I suppose squirrels probably use it too. I need to do some weeding back here. I just haven't done a whole lot. We've got Jacob's Ladder reblooming. Beautiful Rainbow's End Hosta putting on some blooms now. There's also the clematis kind of weaving through it. Oh, and I see another Jacob's Ladder seated itself there. Oh, and I see a Canada thistle in there. Okay, I need to get in there. Otherwise, a Juga ground cover. The violas are kind of fizzling out now under the bench. You can see this is actually a self-seeded Jacob's Ladder bloom coming up through the bench. My poor Bobo hydrangea is a little bit weighed down from the rain. And I've noticed, the first thing I noticed the budworm damage on is geraniums. They especially go after geraniums. Let me see if I can, you can kind of recognize it. They're like, see holes? I don't know if you can see that. They're like holes chewed in the buds and no petals in there, and they don't open to blooms. That is what budworms do, all those little holes. And they really love geranium. So I use permethrin on the University of Minnesota Extension website. It says permethrin is the most effective. I don't know if budworms got to these or if it just got plastered by the rain. Oh, I see a budworm. So they're on this petunia. There's a budworm right there. Little caterpillar. Little bugger. Partially probably because of the rain too, that all the blooms got like pounded off by the rain. So I'll work on that. The extension website says permethrin is the most effective. BT doesn't really work, it said. So I don't know. I've been using permethrin and it seemed to help last year, but you have to reapply. This fern was doing good until the kittens started playing, and now they're crushing it. So I think I might try to put chicken wire or something around that to keep them from completely destroying it. Our kittens last year did the same thing to that same plant. Must be very fun to roll on. Sedum, oh yeah, there are little troublemakers right now over there in my pots. We're hoping to do trap neuter release. We got a grant from the Animal Humane Society to help pay for it, and the rescue. We rescued 2 newborn kittens that were abandoned. It was within an hour of their birth. The mom gave birth behind my planters. One of them was crying very loudly, which is how we found them. I searched everywhere, behind every leaf, every planter. I was late to work that day to make sure there were no more, and I searched all around the yard. And we only found those 2, but a rescue was able to take them, and we were able to surrender. My mom brought them to a vet clinic to surrender them, thankfully. So those 2 are good. That was a couple weeks ago now. Very exciting morning. And now that rescue has put us in touch with some resources to hopefully trap, spay, and release or neuter the rest of the kittens around and adult cats. So that would be awesome. And we'll continue feeding them and providing shelter. But it would be great if they stopped having litters. Finally blooms on the ligularia back here, those yellow blooms. Excellent. The Hosta flower in here from Fragrant Bouquet as well. And if I'm a little bit jerky, it's because the mosquitoes are really bad with all the rain we've had. Aphid's still taking over the, I can't spray it now because now the bees are going after the honeydew. But aphid's still taking over the honeysuckle. So, okay, we got to go to the back corner. I kind of went backwards a little bit in a weird order. So we'll walk through. The Alium, Millennium Alium, are in full glory right now. We also have the Helenium that is fully opening. I do want to plant another Helenium in this garden bed. Beautiful Echinacea. I need to do some deadheading. Snapdragons getting a little bit of a second bloom here. Bloom Chocolata, just beautiful foliage. This has been blooming. I can deadhead those 2 blooms now. And this Alium, this is the #1 favorite. It doesn't bloom for super long, which is a bummer. I would plant Alium everywhere if it bloomed for a little bit longer. Millennium, but nice dense blooms. and just like teeming with pollinators. Bumblebees, soldier beetles, honeybees, any kind of bee. Flies. Oh, they all love it. And it's just coated. I see a moth. I've seen a lot of butterflies this year all over the garden, which is awesome. Hydrangea, firelight, kind of weighed down by the rain a little bit, but still looking good. Really starting to get that late summer raspberry tone coming in now. Still some white, but that'll get real deep pink by fall. And once the blooms get kind of papery feeling, that's when they're at the perfect point to cut and dry. It's when they have color, but they're a little bit papery. Ageratum, I have a line of Aguilera Sky Blue here. Just one of the more compact ones, very similar to the Proven Winners variety. Looks like this one got run over by the lawnmower, maybe. Crunched somehow. That's okay. Lots of pollinators also on the Drops of Jupiter Ornamental Oregano. Just beautiful lacy blooms. The only thing is it looks a little barren in the foliage this time of year. And they are split open a little bit, but again, with all the rain we've had, that is no surprise. So I plant bush beans, but I'm noticing one is vining all over the place. So one pole bean made it in here. And then they're different shaped beans too. They all taste good. Oh, good. Now they're starting to climb the, I have taller poles that I need to stick in there. At this point, I can't really get a trellis in there. It's too dense in my raised bed. But this is where all the strawberries came out. I see there are a couple that got left behind that I'll need to get out of there, but everything all through here and on both sides was just pure strawberries to the back. You couldn't harvest them. It was just too much. And I still have, hundreds all the way around this bed over on the other side too. So I'll have plenty. I did just pop 2 in here. I will fill this with strawberries, but that's kind of the maximum that I want going forward because it's just a little bit too much. Second bloom on the Proven Winners Opalescence phlox. Got a little, see, as we speak, a butterfly. Speak of the butterflies. I am seeing a little bit of mildew, unsurprising for such a wet year, wet, rainy year. But that's the first I've seen of it all summer. And this is why I don't deadhead phlox. I get the beautiful full first bloom. And then it looks kind of raggedy. Not until it gets to this stage where it's all brown and crunchy. That's when you can deadhead. But it'll get kind of raggedy looking. Well, they're putting on a whole second bloom. So you just have to wait a few weeks and you'll get a second flush of flowers. So just be warned of that. I accidentally cut those all off the first year because I didn't realize that. So we've got Night Ember Sedum, Anna's Magic Ball Arbovita. Looking really good. All the arbs are very happy. Starting to get, this got a little mildew issue too. This is a yarrow. I need to cut a deadhead. Normally it would be more full of white blooms. It's second flush at this point. But I'm seeing a lot, you can see a lot of dieback from mildew here, all the brown stems. It gets that a little bit, but this year is especially bad. So I'll cut that back a little bit more. Some last blooms on the drift rose, peach drift. I'm getting a second flush. I did cut this back. This Veronica that was so badly inflicted with mildew. And then lemon jade sedum here. I'm excited for those blooms. And all the self-seeded echinacea. There's another sedum dark night embers. And look at these blooms are huge on this limelight. My grasses have kind of tipped over. But the hibiscus, the Holy Grail hibiscus, is looking really good. Those blooms can be deadheaded. They're kind of like daylilies, although honestly, my friend makes a dye out of the hibiscus blooms actually, but they'll kind of stain your hands, or be careful what you put them next to because they will stain. But bees sometimes will go in there. Hibiscus are kind of like daylilies where each bloom opens for a day-ish, maybe a little longer, and then kind of closes up before it drops off. And sometimes bees sleep on the blooms and then it closes around them. And so when I go pick the blooms off, there's like a angry bee in there and I quick drop it. So just be warned. I do have, this is the, I don't know if you'll be able to see that little purple bloom there on the aster. This will be blooming in sadly just a few weeks' time when we get to the end of summer. Fall always comes too soon. Still blooming on the mighty chestnut daylily. Just a few left. Zinnia's looking good. These cosmos in the back still haven't really bloomed all that much. But that's okay. These ones over here are doing good. They're again tipping over, and their leaves, well, they tend to brown out like that anyways, but I think it's just been so wet as well. Lots of peppers coming due. We can look at the little containers I put together. These marigolds all self-seeded this whole area. I didn't plant any of those. Just crazy. And I have so much trouble seed starting them, but I should just let it go. So yeah, lots of peppers, and I just plant annuals. Lots of 4-pack annuals, a few clearance things here. This is where my shallots are. Oh my God. Okay, zucchini. This one was too small to harvest yesterday, and now look at it. This is what zucchini does. You wait a day and they're like 40 pounds. And look at the size of this pepper. Look at that thing. It has a little green on the bottom I'm just waiting for, but this variety got huge this year. I did not have near as big of orange peppers last year from any of the varieties that I grew. So I did harvest my onions, and I just planted, I dug up some marigolds that had self-seeded and popped them over here. They looked half dead for a few days, but now they're back to life. These geraniums so far are safe from the budworms, but they're coming, won't be long. It's Americana dark red. Oh, it's so nice to be able to walk through here again. Those strawberries were driving me crazy. Backside of the beans, I have a bunch of, so basil, I've grown a mazel basil. I've grown pesto besto. Not impressed at all with the mazel basil flavor. Kind of bland. I grew it all in the same year. So it was taste testing the 3 against each other. Pesto besto, a mazel basil, and just a regular packet of like Genovese Italian basil. And which is what pesto besto is as well. It's kind of basic. You can say I save seeds from that now, but the mazel basil lost. It was the worst one of the 3. So it's not worth the money to me to buy that again when I can easily seed start other basil that tastes better. I didn't even care about, you know, how the flavor doesn't change after it blooms, because I didn't like the flavor in the first place. So not worth it. Overhyped as far as I'm concerned. This one though, Emerald Towers, it's like more of an upright basil. This one blooms so late. I have not had any blooms come up, not had to deadhead it. Maybe they're starting now in August. But this went in early. This one is like beginning of June. This went in. So the, I want to say Emerald Towers, but I feel like that's something else. It's something like that though. Emerald Towers basil does awesome. And it stays more compact too. So if you're growing it in a container especially, I know basil can just get massive. Love my herb planter this year. I'm so happy with this, with the marigolds, rosemary, sage. This is so, I mean, you could put this on your patio and harvest herbs. It is so decorative and so cheap to do. Oregano in the front. And then I do have, so this is what this Nepeta does. That's Walker's Low. It blooms beautifully till early summer. I cut it back hard, like Chelsea chop it, and then it kind of fleshes out and stays green with just a few sporadic blooms here and there. I did have some extra foxglove and then some sail petunias that I popped in back there. I still haven't deadheaded this yarrow. I need to do that. I mean, I don't need to, but it'll just look better. It'll put out fresh foliage. And this darn grass always creeps through here. Unless you excavate down like 12 inches, you're just not going to get all the rhizomes from that grass. So it's a constant battle. But same thing with these are perennial salvia. Those are back to the fuchsia. I give those a Chelsea chop when they're done blooming, and they just kind of flush out a small mound of foliage. And so in between, where I couldn't plant in the spring because the plants were so large, I just find by then it's clearance plant time, so I popped in a couple vinca, a couple coleus. I'll tell you what is loving this rain, sage leaf willow. This is Iceberg Alley, sage leaf willow. All willows love a lot of moisture. That one's looking especially beautiful. I love this little trio. We've got the sage leaf willow, the Sun King Aurelia starting to put on its blooms. And limelight hydrangea here in the background, also beloved by pollinators with massive bloom heads. I find limelight and little lime turn pink a little bit later. Firelight is the first one to turn pink in my garden. The first ones to bloom are between firelight and little quickfire, which I have up front. Also witch's brew coleus. First sign I'm seeing of flowering now on here. That's one plant, branched beautifully. Definitely will be, oh yeah, here's a bloom. Definitely will be seeking that one out to plant next year because this one did awesome. So loving the witch's brew. And this geum is putting on lots of great foliage. It has continued blooming. If I deadhead some more, it'll keep blooming. That is the red dragon. I need, you can see all my darn dandelions. Let's not look, we'll just look away. I need to do some work in this area. Still an IVU to plant, and this little lime always splits open really bad. It's also not in a ton of sun, so I probably need to just cut it back harder every year to keep those stems strong. But the blooms that are like, it's a good excuse to make some bouquets, put some of these blooms in vases. So just everything that's blocking the little pathway, which I don't really need to use that often. I'll just cut those and put them in a vase and enjoy them inside. And then the stems will pop up a little bit more. But that's the firelight, two-tone blooms, pinker in the sun, sunny side. And I do see blooms starting to turn pink here on the little lime hydrangea. There's some pink. But this, I mean, these are huge blooms. Nice size, so very much enjoy hydrangeas. Don't we all? And a couple more ageratum down here. And some weeds. This is a caprosmia. That's an annual that I got on clearance. We have hydrangeas drooping so low now. Lungwort down there. That's pink-a-blue. And then the only Alexandra's Great Baronera that survived. I had a whole line of them around the bottom of this shrub. Or did one survive? I might have another one over there. And we had a wet year and they all rotted out. So I had more rotted out from over here. Baronera just doesn't do great in my yard. I've found I've lost a lot of them. Luckily, they have all been bought on clearance, so it's not a huge financial loss. But I picked up some Helen von Stein lamb's ear that I'll give a try there instead. And the dogwood, it gets kind of a pink tinge to its leaves late summer. This is called strawberry daiquiri, the variegated dogwood. Not a ton of it turning pink yet, but then it gets beautiful fall color, and of course the bright red stems all winter in the snow are very nice. I love dogwood, but it gets so huge here, it's just hard to find room to plant it. Look at that nice little view. So pretty. Might just take a little quick trip up front just because a few things are blooming now. So we'll just pop up there real fast. Not too much to see. So one of these sunflower heads, I had cleared all the seeds into that box and had it sitting up here to dry because it got real soggy in the rain, and the kittens happened. And now my patio is covered in sunflower seeds, so I need to sweep those up. Those darn kittens. Oh, there's one troublemaker. See it in the pot there, asleep. They love sleeping in these containers. I don't see any with the vine. It makes them hard to keep these watered. But sometimes I just have to shoo them away and get it done. Tons of rainwater. Well, and this is also dehumidifier water. So some of my containers that are more under the eaves, even when it rains, they don't get a real good watering, so I'll use that today. Get those all watered down, rehydrated. The humidity feels terrible to us, but the plants like it. So Russian sage looking great. This weed just keeps getting bigger. We won't look at that, but I've got snapdragons starting to bloom and the double up red begonias up here. Angelina sedum is this bright green creeping one. It's kind of spread itself all over. And this is the sun sparklers. I want to say plum dazzled. I have one big one and then a smaller one. It used to be big. So far this lavender, I forget what kind it is. Supposed to be hardy here, but so far it's doing well, even with the rain. Then I got some clearance vinca. We also have sempervivum, autumn charm sedum here. This is crazy blue Russian sage. I have 3 of them in here. They are kind of tipped over a little bit. And then I just planted this area, things just want to die in here. Like nothing really does well. So I just popped in some annual, this stuff, annual, not dianthus. And it is kind of, I think it's annual, but it's semi-hardy, so that could come back this year. More dianthus that I popped in. These are just like the 4-packs. I got them once they went on clearance. And this is another sun sparkler sedum. I don't remember the variety now. Something like wildfire, maybe one of those. That's the foliage looks really healthy on this Alyssum, but still no blooms. This is the 2nd year I've grown that with 0 blooms. I just started from seed. It's really easy. This sedum does split open after it blooms. I could cut it, but it's okay. I don't mind. It's a variegated one, and it does sprout little extra things from the stems. And then this is an annual Alternanthera, a gold one that I popped in there. I have grown that in pots before, and it does pretty well. Those Alternanthera are real tough. So that's doing good. The begonias over here are doing awesome. These are the bronze leaf red begonias with creeping Jenny. Again, I see some weeds I need to pull out of this railroad tie bed. It's real loose soil in there, so it's pretty easy to pull stuff. But these are doing great. I probably have 8 or 9 of them in here, these begonias, and they really fill in. In this area, this planter is hard because I've done full sun stuff because it gets a lot of sun, but then it's uneven because one side gets more sun than the other. But so far these sun begonias have done the best out of anything. Marigolds also did really well. Got more begonias over here. The cocktail vodka mixed with bronze leaf white. And this cute little Lismachia, not Waikiki Sunset, what's that one? Golden Globe. And then I forgot I put this planter on the step to water it. But these are a plant, I haven't done pots in here before, but this Pilea is doing really good with some bronze leaf begonias. So it just has to be something that can really dry out, because these are hard to keep watered because they're so small. But begonias do pretty well. They don't like to be overwatered. This bed's looking good. All my random sale plant stuff and annuals to try out. It's pretty wild this year. In future years, it'll be a little more tame. But my experiment of planting calibrachoa in the ground is working out beautifully, even in a highly rainy year. They were a little stressed when I first planted them, so I was giving them iron and fertilizer, but they are spreading and blooming beautifully. This is the Super Bell's Tropical Punch, which is probably my #1 favorite calibrachoa of all time, and I've grown a lot. I have 2, well, they're supposed to be the same variety, but clearly they're not. This one's much smaller, and the blooms are more yellow. Arizona Apricot Gallardia. You can see the bees enjoying that. We've got a Super Tunia Mini Vista White. And then this is the Unplugged Red Salvia starting to bloom. I'm going to look for this coleus again next year. This is Marble Mania. Really pretty. This perennial mum split open with a heavy rain. If I deadhead it, it'll put on a big flush of bloom, so I'll have to do that. And you can see the little quickfire hydrangeas pretty much in full shade. They get a little bit of sun early in the day and late in the day, but not much, but they still do beautifully here and bloom. I've got a ghost fern in there, a couple onyx, heuchera, sea heart, or some kind of brunnera, and then I have a lungwort that I planted, and poor little curly fries hosta. I think I'm gonna have to move it back to that gap because I kept moving it back. I had it kind of where this was here, way too much sun, moved it back, still gets a lot of sun, but we'll wait till next year. You can see the Solomon seal kind of arching over there. I do have some more bronze leaf red begonias mixed with this Artemisia. That is a perennial Artemisia, and it will get large. I forget the name. That is the Proven Winners one. So that'll kind of fill in this whole space. The rest of the stuff is all annual for this year. We've got the Rockin' Dark Purple Salvia there, blooming. Bunch of snapdragons that I started from seed. Bunch of different varieties, and I had a mixed variety too. Some of them, this one's Potomac Lavender. One of these is curling down. The other one is staying nice and upright. Shade plants back there. A couple hellebores, a couple hostas. This is the opening act pink dot phlox. I have a second one back there that I need to move forward so it gets more sun. Here's another experimental Calibrachoa. Two of these Super Bells Watermelon Punch doing awesome in the ground. So that is great. I will continue planting those in the ground. I also got a couple Sunstar Pink Pentas on clearance that I popped in there. Looks like they're kind of getting ready to put on another bloom. And then I have a yellow echinacea mixed with a type of rudbeckia that's not annual, but that's self-seeded from last year. I don't recall which variety this one was exactly, but looking gorgeous. I love the two together. Got still the iris looking good. Those are just Siberian iris down to foliage now. My little planter up here. Love the Samsonia. I absolutely love this texture. This one is string theory. I'm getting to be its full size now. And then we've got a bunch of Americana dark red geranium. I have a few more that I got on clearance that I need to pop in up here. Henna coleus. We've got a bunch of different heuchera. Caramel is probably the most reliable one I've ever grown, or I've grown thus far. This is the strawberry, what is it? It's a marigold. I'm forgetting. Strawberries. Shoot, strawberry something marigold. I don't know how I could forget. I've grown it for years now. But here we are. Blue Shadow Fothergilla. I also popped a Kufia in here. That was clearance. That's, now I'm blanking on the name. That's a Proven Winners one too. Another caramel heuchera down there. The barberry limoncello is getting, I've said this in videos before, it starts out real chartreuse and bright and then turns kind of dark green as the season goes on, but it'll get really brilliant fall color. There's a walnut tree growing up there that I'm going to have to get in there and pick out. The first part of this garden is all self-seeded marigolds that were in the back in the raised beds that I transplanted. They've kind of leaned forward from the rain, but we do have a bunch of balsam coming up. Wow, this stuff shot up. Holy cow. Victoria Blue Salvia. I've got some of the Carmine Gomphrena. You can see this balsam gets huge. It's up to my waist here. And pollinators love, love, love it. And then back here, just to prevent the cats from litter boxing this whole area, I planted a bunch of clearance salvia from 4-packs, some grasses. I just got a ton of clearance stuff. I was testing doing sweet potato vine back here to see if it got enough moisture without having to run the soaker hose right next to the foundation all the time. So far, so good, at least in a rainy year. We've got a petunia, some clearance, or some 4-pack verbena. These were some alternanthera, some osteospermum, just a bunch of random stuff this year because the balsam self-seeding didn't go as well. Got ornamental cabbage that I started from seed. This ground cover is all wild strawberries, so hard to keep up on. We do have some more whole patch of foxglove. You can see these. I've had these for a number of years, and I'm guessing it's Camelot Purple. I'm really not sure. They weren't labeled when I'd originally bought them. But then I also have some Dalmatian Peach Foxglove that's self-seed in here. So I just let it go. We've got more salvia, just a bunch of stuff. Oh, I see something died in there, but not doing too bad. I've got some more overdam grass and then an echinacea, and I will be adding some more echinacea. Oh, and a walnut tree coming up through it. All right, we'll have to dig that out. I always need to come in here with a weeder and dig out the walnut tree, like the actual walnut, otherwise it'll keep resprouting. You have to pop that whole walnut out of the ground. And squirrels plant those, I'm sure. I don't know whether it was all planted this year, or maybe they lay dormant until it's the right conditions. I have no clue, but they're a bit annoying to pull out, but it's fine. So that's it. I will leave you there. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're having a great time in your garden. The weather isn't too bad. I will love it when this humidity drops this weekend. Without the humidity, it would be quite pleasant, but that's how it goes for most of the US. So I hope you're all having a great time. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe.